I grew up in a place where coming out gay is really looked down upon. If you were gay, chances are your parents beat you, or best case scenario, you got disowned. And I'm in a weird situation right now because the same people who would drop me for a dime if they knew my truth, right now I currently desperately need because I'm sick and I need their insurance. If people found out my truth, I could get in serious trouble. So I started thinking and realized if I can't live my authentic self in person, I can try to at least live like I want to live online. All I have to do is wear a mask.
I'm a chef, apples masquerade. I need both face and mind, a free for you to draw. I'm a chef, have no face to show. Just don't take off my mask, my disguise.
Hey, my name is Atti and I'm gay, and this is my coming out story. See, even saying those 3 words, I'm gay, doesn't really feel right. I still feel a sense of burden whenever I say those words, which is weird because I've had all this time to come to terms with my sexuality, and here I am still struggling to come to terms with it. It just goes to show how much the LGBTQ community has been victimized and treated bad to the point where people feel really ashamed for something that they can't even change, right? Like imagine being ashamed for your skin color or for your eye color, basically things that you can never change. I don't know, I think it's stupid. Like I said, being gay is something that was always with me ever since I was a little child. I might have not realized it at the time, but I was definitely a girly pop. Looking back at the timeline of my life, there were some things that were obviously gay, right? It's just I didn't put too much attention to it to really connect the dots, or maybe I did. It's just I didn't want to accept it. But now Judgment Day has arrived, and it's time for me to revisit these memories and explain to you guys my coming out story.
Look, it's LGBTQ.
This gayness started all the way back since kindergarten. The earliest LGBTQ memory I've had was when I started dreaming of kissing the tallest kid in my class. I remember that at the time, I just choked it up to me really admiring that guy. Now, at the time, I didn't know that was bad, right? I thought that was just something that friends do. Like my family kisses me, my mom kisses me, my brothers kiss me. Why can't I kiss him? I didn't really think it was something that was bad. Well, obviously I never really acted on it. It was just a feeling that I had. And looking back at it now, it was a crush, right? That was my crush on a guy. In fact, these feelings that I've had always centered around me admiring the boys at my school. And it wasn't until like 3rd grade that I realized that being gay is bad. Society tells you that you should never be gay. And the reason why I was able to pick up on this, despite no one ever telling me, at a young age you get a feel on how that word is being used, right? The way how kids throw around that word as if it's like a bad thing, the way your parents speak about it, the way how the church members talk about people who are gay, you just immediately get the vibe. And so quickly I caught on that these feelings I've had for my friends was bad, and I tried my best to hide that. Around this point is when the kids in my class started getting into relationships, and of course my friends started getting into their own relationships with girls, and I got jealous, right? But it wasn't jealousy in the sense that I was jealous of the guy for scoring a girl, or you know what I mean, for dating the most popular girl. That wasn't what I was jealous about. Looking back at it now, I was more jealous at the fact that the girls were taking my spot. He should be holding my hand, you know?
That's cute. I wish I could get it.
So obviously I got jealous and bitter, and so I did my best to try and break them up. I would try to get the girl to fall in love with me, so once they break up, I can have my friend all to myself. And I know it's toxic, but at the time I didn't really know better. I was just jealous, okay? And of course, since I didn't really like the girl, the relationship would never really last longer than like 3 days. Hi, this is future Atti editing this video, and I just thought of an amazing idea. If you have any assumptions or questions you want to ask me, leave them in the comments down below, because I would like to make a video and compile all of them so I can answer them in a nice, pretty video for you guys to enjoy. Alright, bye-bye. In fact, in all those times that I was dating a girl, I never even held their hand, gave them a kiss, or any of that stuff. I always tried my best to hide any type of emotions I would get from other boys in my class. A pattern you're gonna see all throughout this video is you can't really hide something for too long. Even if you think it's working, eventually that feeling will come out. And in 6th grade, the gayness came back, right? This admiration for a boy came back, and this time who caused it was this black kid. First of all, I want to make this clear. This kid was 100% straight. I was just delusional at the time, you know. We would do things that normal friends would do. He would do things like give me his leftover food, open the doors when my hands were full, buy me things. All things that normal friends do to each other. But since I was like deprived, I looked into it more than I should have, basically. There I was trying to hide and reject my gayness, and it came back, of course. And I felt sad about it. I remember thinking that if I didn't do anything about this, and if I didn't fight it back, I was gonna go to hell. And so I did something that I regret to this day. Basically, I threw away my perfect relationship with a friend, all because of my insecurities. I was hoping that if I separated my emotions again, that eventually this phase of my life would go away. And I wanted to create some distance between me and my friend, for my own sake at least. And so one day after lunch, I went up to him and told him, I didn't like you. I don't want to be your friend anymore, which came out of nowhere. I could see in his face that he was pretty shocked and hurt that I could do such a thing. And I still beat myself up to this day because he was one of my best friends, and I just threw all that away because of my insecurities. After that whole confrontation with my sexuality, I eventually tried my best again to separate any emotions from coming out. Again, I really thought that if I waited this out, I would eventually grow out of this phase. And for the longest time, everything actually was working fine. Like I didn't have any more attraction to boys or girls. Basically, I tried to disconnect my emotions and it was working. But of course, you know, as you get older in your teenage years, puberty starts hitting. You also got to keep in mind, you're not the only person who's going through it. Everyone around you is also going through it, and that can lead into really weird situations, right? So after 2 years or so of me controlling my emotions and not letting any romantical feelings develop, something happened in 8th grade that was a key moment of awakening my sexuality. Bear in mind, I don't know how this topic ended up being brought up in my group of friends, but it did. And somehow everyone in the table was talking about their favorite genre of, and that was the first time I heard a bunch of these terms that I never heard of before. I heard stuff like big booty Latinas, MILFs, tit fucking, and I was like, I had no idea what any of that was. Here I am trying to like purify my mind, and there's these gremlins who knew these things that I had no idea what it was. Eventually, it was my turn to say my favorite genre. And again, I didn't really have a clue what it was, and I didn't know what type of genres there were. I didn't want to like be left out of the group. So I said the first thing that came to mind, and I said true love as a genre of. For some reason, I think at the moment I was trying to take the high road and make it seem like I'm out here for love. You guys are animals, but it backfired because that answer was completely stupid. Imagine searching up true love. Like, how desperate do you have to be? So obviously people started making fun of me because that was such a stupid answer, but it was so stupid that it was funny. And luckily my friends let me off the hook for that. But I will say, someone told me something that stuck with me that whole entire day. Even though they were joking, right? One of my friends said, Atti, you're fucking gay. And here I was trying to distance myself from that, but I was still caught it. So eventually I needed to know what was up. I've had 2 years of purity, no emotions, no romantic feelings. And it was time for me to figure out whether or not that was true or not, whether or not if I was, you know, LGBTQ. So armed with all this amazing genres of porn that my friends told me, I went back home and went on Pornhub. The first thing I did, searched up all those terms that I heard. I searched up Latinas, Asians, MILFs, redheaded grannies, all the terms they said, all these topics that my friends like, I was also supposed to like. And unfortunately, of course, when I watched it, I didn't feel anything. I didn't like it. I didn't like redheaded grannies. I didn't like tit fucking. I didn't like MILFs. I didn't like any of that, and I was sad. I was sad. I'm like, damn, I'm supposed to like this, right? I'm supposed to be like them, but I didn't like it. Periodically throughout the week, I would go back to those videos and see if I can, elicit some type of feelings. Again, nothing happened until I did. And looking back at it now, I don't think it was the grannies that were doing it for me. It was the guys, let's face it. I was aroused because of the guys, not because of the girls. You see, in my mind, I was like, I just watched straight. If 1 + 1 = 2, I'm straight.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women.
That was me. I thought I was cured, but that was bullshit, of course. That was straight BS, because look at me. I talk with my hands. When I started going to high school and freshman and sophomore year, I consider myself straight. Eventually, the videos that I was watching went from guy girl to guy girl until eventually it was just focusing mainly on the guy. Then it finally happened, my first dude on dude action. I watched my first gay. Of course I liked it. Seeing those two hairy dudes making out, yummy. It was yummy, okay? I was like, I want that. I want what they have.
That's cute. I wish I could fit it, but...
Then all the straight videos I was watching never really did it for me, and I got scared again, because that means I'm gay, and that's a sin. You can never be gay. And so I started feeling depressed again. The depression came back, this nasty feeling, this dread came back. I tried to do the same thing I did all the previous times, which was essentially weaning off of being gay. I tried my best to lower the percentage of gay to straight ratio I would watch from 85% gay to 70% gay and 30% straight. I think the lowest I ever got it down was like 60% gay. I'm telling you guys, I try my best to fight off this gay. It just doesn't go away. I don't know what to tell you guys. It never goes away. Again, all throughout high school, I honestly thought that I'd rather have no emotions than to be gay. And that's what I did. I cut off any emotions. I didn't look for any romantical feelings from anyone. I distanced myself from relationships. I basically lobotomized myself. Instead, I spent all that time focusing on other things. Like at the time I was going to church school over the weekends, I focused a lot on my grades to try and get a high GPA, and I did. I got a 4.0. I try my best not to be gay, especially after how I saw the gay kids in my school being treated. I didn't want the same treatment. The depression spiraled out of control. I felt suicidal way too many times. And just when I had almost lost myself, something happened that confirmed what I had already known this entire time. My best friend and I were invited to play a basketball game with another group of friends. They were trying to do a full-on 5 versus 5, so they needed extra players to fill up the roster. And I don't know why they were asking me. I had never ever thrown a ball before. My gay ass never even did any sports at high school, so I guess they were really desperate, right? But nevertheless, I said yeah. And the reason why I said yes was because I knew everyone there, and everyone there knew me. For the most part, we were all in good terms. So I didn't have anything to do at home, and it didn't seem like a bad idea, so I said why not. And despite on me being good terms with everyone, there was one person who hated me for whatever reason. I don't know why, but at any chance he got, he would always treat me like shit. This guy would literally do Mean Girls style bullying to me. I still remember this to this day. One day when I was walking with my best friend, he went up behind me, kicked my foot, and tripped me just to take my spot. Like, who does that, right? That's a type of bullying you see on Nickelodeon, right? Like, that's some iCarly level of bullying. And the fact that my friends just walked away from me, that just left a bad first impression on me, and I never liked him ever since then. I wasn't gonna let him ruin the mood for me. So my best friend and I joined the game, and that was like the worst thing they could have done, because let me tell you, I was trash at basketball. I'm talking fouls after fouls. I missed every shot I took. It almost seemed like every time I was on a team, we would always end up losing. It wasn't competitive, it was more of like a friendly game, but damn did I suck. And I got a lot of people hurt too. I don't know why, but anytime when there were people shooting, my first instinct was to knock the ball down and smash it onto their head. So yeah, so after like 2 hours of me karate chopping my friend's head, it was time for us to come back home. It was night. We spent the whole day just playing basketball, hanging out with our friends, and it was time for us to leave. From that park, everyone lived in different directions. I lived in the ghetto. All my other friends were well off, I guess. They were in middle class. I lived in the ghetto. So I was always the only person who took a different path than everyone else. And so I said my goodbyes. I said, thanks for inviting me. Don't invite me again. I waved my hands and I left alone because again, no one lives where I live, or so I thought. As I was minding my own business, I hear someone say, hey, wait up. And I turn around and guess who was behind me, running up on me? That piece of shit friend who tricked me. But I should have shoved him right to the street and had him run over. But no, I'm a good person. I don't do that. I don't kill people. So as you can imagine, it was really awkward because we both knew how fucked up he had been to me. We knew we had bad blood and it was just awkward. It was a weird balance of me mad dogging him while also trying to keep things civil and cordial because I knew he knew my friends and my friends knew him. Something told me that they would much rather prefer him than me. So if there was gonna be a fight and they had to pick sides, I knew that my friends would abandon me. Anyways, as we were talking and as I was learning more about him, specifically why he was walking this path, I eventually found out that he did live in a rich neighborhood. It's just that in order to reach his home, he first needed to walk through the ghetto, aka where I live. Of course, I connected the dots and I realized that he was just using me for his convenience. He didn't want to walk alone and possibly get lost, so he sucked up his pride and said, I guess I have to walk with him. It felt like an escort mission with someone that you hate. But to be honest though, it was kind of dark. Even for my standards, I did feel a little better that I wasn't walking alone because it is dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, it was dangerous. And so there we were, just walking down this pitch dark street, having a shallow conversation, making shallow jokes, basically just trying to pass the time, right? As we're doing this, out of nowhere, we hear two stray cats fighting, right? It's scary, especially when you don't expect it. And in a joking manner, he reached out his hand and said, grab my hand. And so I thought about it for like a second. I put my hand forward and I grabbed his hand. And that was the first time I grabbed a boy's hand. Again, we had just stopped playing basketball for like 2 hours, so his hands were pretty rugged, right? And I liked it. I liked how it felt. So it felt nice, right? I'm just saying it felt nice. Now, obviously, this was a gag. This wasn't like a serious thing. It was just something to lighten up the mood. But I don't know, something about me holding hands with a man with a rugged hand in the pitch dark with the moonlight with the stars outside and quiet. I don't know, say what you want to say, but I felt something. Yes, he was a piece of shit and I still hate him to this day, and given the chance, you know, push him to the streets. But at that moment, it did make me feel some type of way, right? Realistically speaking, we only held hands for like a minute, but to me it felt like 5 minutes. It felt like a long time we were holding hands until, of course, the gag was over and he said, okay, let go of my hand. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry. But if it was up to me, I'd be like, no, it's okay. We can hold hands all the time. It's fine. I want to make this clear. He was 100% straight. It was just a gag. But again, I was just emotionally deprived that I took advantage of it. So we eventually made it to the intersection where we split off, right? He went to the rich side. I went to the ghetto side. When I went home, things were so weird. Things were awkward. It was just silence. I wasn't thinking. It was weird. I had to process what just happened. I had to process what feelings I was feeling. So after welling in silence for a long time, I finally came to the conclusion that I'm a girly pop. I'm a girly pop. Now the question was, what should I do now? At this point, I had just graduated from my church school that I would go to every weekend. And so the grip that religion used to have on me wasn't as strong as it was before. And so it helped me come to terms with it easier. Don't get me wrong, I still felt kind of sad and ashamed, but it was more manageable this time. So you may be wondering, what did I do this time? And the truth is, I did nothing. I just kept kept on doing what I've been doing my entire life, which was bottle these emotions, distance yourself from everyone. I didn't want to be treated the same way the gay kids in my school was, and so why fix something that was working for me, right? And most importantly, I didn't want this news to get to my parents because, again, I don't want to be disowned. I don't want to get beat. I just wanted a normal life. Eventually, I graduated high school and I'm now currently going to a community college. As much as I want to say that things are looking better for me and that things are much better now that I'm out of high school, that I have my own independence, that now I can act the way I want to act, obviously I can't. That's not the situation because look, I'm wearing a mask. There's too many things to talk about in this one video alone, and maybe if you guys are interested and want another video of me explaining my situation better, let me know in the comments down below. But I just reached the point where I said fuck it, I'm not gonna have more problems than I have already. If I'm going to have all these problems, being gay is not going to be one of them, because I know that even though there's nobody here for me right now, eventually when these chains break off, I will have a group of people waiting for me. I know when I have shitty days, I like to watch other people struggle. I like watching other people struggle, so I know that I'm not alone, and hopefully I can be that clutch for you. At the end of the day, if there's no one in your life that will support you, just do what I do and say fuck it. Make your own group of people who will. And on that note, it was nice talking to you guys. If you guys want another video, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to join my community, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, you've made it this far. I know we have a connection. You might as well subscribe. Bye.